Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and I've been gone for a while. We've had some things going on, some family stuff, some sad stuff, but all is well. I am back to trying to get my crafting mojo back. Um, yeah, it's been a long story, a lot going on, but I'm back, and I decided since I couldn't really get inspired to do cards right now. I thought I'd try quilling again. I've got the supplies. I've had stuff for 20 years. Um, and I know that because some of my instructions are dated for 2004. Um, so I thought, well, I'll try that again. I've got all the stuff and it's not, it's not super complicated. It's easy to put down, whatever. So this was the first thing I made was this flower. And let me pull it up on this piece of paper. And I used the husking board to do it, which is a little bit more complicated. Whoops, there we go. Than just, um, using quilled piece, the twisting of the coils. But it came out really nice. I probably could have used bolder colors. The light blue was very similar to the almost white, so I could have done that a little differently. It would have stood out better, but I still think it's kind of pretty. It's the first one I've made in ages. But then I shared this video by, and I'm probably going to say her name wrong, Shivani Creations. The video itself is 3 years old, but it's called Paper Quilling Leaves in 30 Styles. And I thought, oh, well, I love leaves. They're a great filler because my intent was just to make a bunch of stuff up and then maybe photograph the individual pieces and try to make some digital art out of them. I don't know if I'll ever get around to that. There's a lot I have to get ready. A lot of pieces I'd have to make before I ever get around to it. And then you've got to, photograph all of them and clean them up. And I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. But if anybody else is thinking that's a good idea, well, there you go. Let me know. I'll be your first customer. But otherwise, I decided I was going to try to make these 30 styles of leaves. And right off the bat, I got a little bit off track. I just was making the leaves instead of actually putting them together at like the finished pieces down here. Um, let's see. That helps you see any better. So, she starts off pretty simple. She shows you how to make a coil, and then she shows you how to shape the coil. So here's one I made with a piece that I cut of cardstock, and that's a whole nother story. Anyway, it's a coil. It's a loose coil. Um, and you just pinch it, basically. And that makes your leaf shape. And then you can take your leaf shape and you kind of twist it in your fingers to give it a curve. The other thing with the coil you do is instead of pinching both ends, you just pinch the one end. And that leaves you with a nice teardrop shape. And in the same vein, you can also then just wrap a coordinating color around the outside to give it a little bit more contrast. And the same with this one. This is got a lot more wraps around it, so the contrast is really visible. But there you go. So she then took these and would take 3 of the teardrops and put them together to make a bigger leaf, and so on and so forth. So I followed through. I am only up to I don't even know, step 14 maybe. So this one you use the basic, where'd that piece of paper go? You use the basic teardrop shape, and then you glue them together and you put your stem on there, and that's pretty. But the glue I'm using I don't like because it shows up white. I started out using Barely Art glue. Wasn't real happy with it for some reason, and so I changed glues to Aleene's tacky glue. Not happy with it either. So I have a Aleene's clear tacky, or a clear gel tacky glue I'm going to try next. But here's another one. You just take your basic, your circle, your coiled piece, and then you pinch the ends, and then you just put them together in various ways to get your different leaf shapes. This one she made the teardrop, but then she actually used, it's on the other side of the room, and hers came out better than mine, but you can kind of see, I think, that's raised a little bit in the center. They have little, well, they have little tools you can buy that do that. But you can also use, like, well, that's not a good example. Here we go. Well, that's not a great example either, but the rounded end of a tool or a pen or something to just kind of give that raised up a little bit, you know, some extra definition. And then, of course, you have to glue the back side, whoops, so that everything stays coiled, which I didn't do a very good job of. Then there was this one, and it's supposed to look more like this. It's supposed to be more of an arrow shape, but I didn't get those quite pinched enough. That's more of a heart shape, which is also one of the pattern pieces, but I just didn't get it quite right. So then this one, she made that, and then I made it in a smaller form, but she took 3 of the same size and then grouped them together as well. So it's really just about, you know, kind of continuing to build your pieces. And you'll see that these shapes are the same over and over and over again. Here's that leaf that's been curved on both ends. She just took 7 of them and glued them on a stem in the middle, and she did wrap the outside with a contrasting color, and that's one of my favorites actually, but I really like this one too. I like the shape of it. You don't need to see that hair in there, and I might have glued it in. Yep. Anyway, I really like that one. I like the teardrop with the little curve in it, which that wasn't one that I actually showed you down here, but I do have some. So you start out as a teardrop, and then you just kind of pinch. I hold this in place and then just kind of pinch and roll, and that just gives it a little bit of a curve there. And then this last one that I've gotten done, I haven't made it through the 30 yet. I don't even think I'm to 15. She actually took, see, you can see the glue on that, I think, and I don't, let's flip it over. So she basically took 2 coils, pinched them on the ends, but flattened it on the bottom and left the one side rounded, and then glued those together, wrapped them, and created this leaf shape. But yeah, you can see all the dried glue on there. So I'm going to try a different glue today. But I wanted you to see what I'd done so far. If you're not familiar with quilling, or even if you are and you're not familiar with this artist, I will put a link for this particular video in the comments below. She's, you know, there's all kinds of quilling artists out there. I liked the fact, because I wanted to make leaves, I liked the fact that she had 30 in one video. So that's why I chose it. But there are obviously other videos out there that you could choose, but I'll link her below. This is what I've got so far. Today I'm going to start on, let me see where I'm at here. Gotta go back to my tablet. Oh, and I gotta start. Oops, sorry. You don't need to hear the commercials. I don't like to hear the commercials. For some reason it doesn't save my spot. I'm trying to see where we're at. Okay, that one we did. That one we just did. So this looks like it's the same thing she just made, only with sorry here, trying to get the video to the right spot. This tablet is not the best. Well, maybe it's the same. Nope, it's different. So basically it's the same one as this one. She just used 2 contrasting colors. So maybe that's what I'll do next. But I did want to tell you guys, I have a bunch of quilling papers, but I'm always worried I'm going to run out. And what I do also have is a lot of cardstock. It's a lighter weight cardstock, a 65 pound that I thought would work. And it did work. That's the bright green that you see in here. But it doesn't release the coil very well. So And by that I mean from the center out it doesn't expand very well. You kind of have to help it. Um, but I figured out how to cut these little strips on my Cricut. Now the first ones I did wrong. I cut them, I don't know if you can even see that. I used the wavy blade, but I forgot to attach the lines to the mat, and so it kind of compressed everything. So they're really thin. They're like a 1/16 of an inch instead of an 1/8 of an inch, which is like the smallest size that you work with in quilling. You go from an 1/8 to a quarter to 3/4, I think. Or 1/8 to a quarter to a half. I don't know. Anyway, they're a little small, and that was that one that I did squish up to show you here. But these since I cut them second, I remembered to attach these strips to the mat, and it cut it out really nicely, I have to say. Now I didn't have it cut the ends. I only had it cut the lines. You could make it cut the ends if you want. I was a little worried that with all these tiny little intersections that the blade might start skipping and tearing, so I didn't do it. I just cut the ends myself, but you certainly could do it. And I just kind of give this a little, you know, kind of loosen up the fibers a little bit with my fingernail, like you would if you were curling ribbon. And I'm going to pause her video because I left her going in the background. I see she's moved on to something else. Where did my quilling tool go? It's probably right in front of my face, and I just don't see it. Isn't that just drives me crazy how that happens. It should be right here. Well, it was on my desk, but oh, sorry about that. I was kind of trying to keep them in the order I made them just because, but this is the other little tool I was telling you about that helps you create the domed shapes or cone shapes in your quilling pieces when you've got, you know, when you want that extra dimension. For some reason I ended up with 2 of these. Probably forgot I'd bought one. But that's, you know, once you made your quill or your coil, here, let me try and show you. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. So we're going to start with this one. Now this quilling tool, I can't find mine. I've got them somewhere. I haven't found them since we've moved. I just looked for them and I tore up this room looking and I couldn't find them. So I had to go to Hobby Lobby and grab this one. And it's a really narrow width in here, so sometimes it's a little tricky to get it to go around the cardstock, but it will work. They do make these in different size with different size, I don't know, mouths or caps. I don't know what you call them. I'm certainly not an expert on quilling. I just like the effect. And you just kind of wiggle it loosely to get it out of there, otherwise you'll pull that coil out from the center. And then, well, let's pick, this one's number 15. Let's see if it'll, oh, yep, that uncoiled pretty good. So that's when I take my tweezers, and you can see the end there, so we're going to glue that. And this is just making a basic coil. Now you can keep these coiled tightly for like flower centers or whatever, or you can let them expand, and that's when you get the different patterns on the inside. And I'm just pressing that down a little bit. I always get too much glue. Alright, so there you've got your coil. And from here you've got your options. So just to make the basic leaf, again, we just take and pinch. Oops. And there you go. Or to do what we did on this one here, which was the last one I did, you kind of want this more flat on the bottom. So I kind of just try to do it more like that. And that way, when you've got two of them, you can glue that flat piece together. The other thing you can do is, whoops, there we go. See, I popped my coil. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I called it. Let's see if I can get it back in there. Oh, yeah. So you can also, you know, kind of expand them back out. Now, depending on what paper you're using, you might not want to futz with these a lot. But I do find that using the cardstock and then just kind of breaking up those fibers a little bit before I coil it does help. And this little board, I don't know where I got it, but I've had it for a while too. It just helps you create different shapes. It comes with the pins, so you can pin stuff down on here, which is how I did the stems for the leaves. I would kind of pin them in place, kind of wedge them where I wanted them, and then I could glue the actual leaves onto the stem without it moving around too much. So that's how I did that. Now she, in her video, Shirani just puts them on her self-healing cutting mat like I have here, but I don't like having to constantly clean the glue off of it, so I didn't. But you know, you do have that option. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you, is what you could do with that coil. Well, let's just make another one. We'll use this strip here, and we'll get rid of this, and we'll make one more, and I'll show you how to use the doming tool. So they do make little tools with batteries that will wind your coils for you if you like, if you prefer that. I know places like Alibaba and Temu have them. I'm sure Amazon has them. Okay, so I do need that board, but well, I don't need it back. You can just kind of loosen your coil, like just kind of ease your pinch on there so it's not so tight. I like the board with the sizes on it so that I'm getting consistent sizing, just because I'm not as practiced as the original video, the lady in the original video. But you do whatever works for you. You don't have to have those tools. So just making sure that's glued down. I want to find a better, oh, maybe this one. Yeah, it's not great. I need one with a rounded, like a Sharpie. So then you can just kind of go like that, and it helps you raise it. But this one's not coiled tight enough for this. You do generally want a tighter coil, which I wasn't thinking about when you're going to do something like this, because you do have to glue it. But basically you would just put it down on the board and press it down. So let's do another one, and this time I won't loosen it up like that. Now the reason I tried the cardstock was because A, I have a lot of it. It's like the recollection stuff from Michael's that you used to be able to buy. I think you still can actually, and get it when it's on sale and stock up. But it's a little lightweight for most of my card projects, for at least for the base card bases. So I thought, well, maybe I could use it for this. Plus I was running out of green. So and one of the sites I looked on for quilling papers, they were using a 65-pound paper, and I thought, oh, well, that's what this is, or 60, yeah, 65. But I don't know that was the same paper type, because there's different types, which I still don't completely understand. Cover weight, index weight, who knows what else. So really, like a heavier copy paper, I think, is what's ideal. Okay, so get that glued together. Now, and you can also glue your strips together, which she'll show you how to do, just to make them longer, but just for the sake of doing this, I'm going to try it on this one here. So I'm going to just put it on here. Hopefully you can see that, and you just kind of lower it down, and it makes a nice cone shape. It's kind of blurry, I'm sorry about that. Which is really nice for flower centers, or, you know, who knows. I mean, one of the things I love about the quilling is it doesn't have to be so realistic. I mean, it's not realistic. It's abstract or whatever. I don't. Maybe I'm not using the right term, but um, you know, it's whatever you like, and so it doesn't have to be perfect. So then I just filled that little cone with glue. Again, it's blurry. I'm sorry. And I'll just let it sit there to dry, and then it'll stay up on point like that. So anyway, I'm going to get back to work doing some more of these today. And then I will go back to making some more flowers and some different styles of leaves and stuff. But I just wanted to show you, I shared that video because I was so excited to get started on it. And I actually am excited to be making all these leaves in different shapes, and just getting back into it, because it really is kind of I don't know, zen-like, maybe that's too strong a word, but it's relaxing, and you can take your time with it and create. You know, you can either, when you're done with all of your pieces, you add some flowers to it. You can even create bees and bugs, whatever. You can either glue them down and frame them into a permanent piece of art, or you can, like I plan on doing, you can keep reusing them and reforming stuff and to make some digital art. But that's up to you. That's not the way I don't think most people do it, because I haven't found a lot of digital art that's, you know, for sale for other artists to use. So yeah, just an idea. But anyway, and I'm going to get back to my Cricut now. When I got some paper in my cart that's thinner than the cardstock, but I'm going to try that on my Cricut too, and I'll let you know when I come back. And I will share the link for the file. The way I set it up was I put 1/8" strips is in one image, I guess, and then the other image is 1/4" strips, if you prefer those. You can really make them any size you want, but I will put the link for that in my Facebook group or Facebook page. I'll try to put it on both. I need to just figure out which one of those I'm going to use and just put it there. So you know what, I think the problem is when I want to put it on my page, I have to add it to the documents, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. I haven't been in here in months, so I'll figure it out. But it'll be in one or the other, and it's just Expressions Craft Studio on Facebook, either the group or the page, and just join it. There's no cost to join, and then you can have access to the design space file for the Cricut if you're interested. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up today. I think I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to get back to watching the video and making some more flowers or leaves, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for joining me, guys.